All right, welcome back to Big Board. Let's try this again. I was recording, and I believe I paused and then did not restart, and then the video just turned the screen off. And so we lost about 8 minutes of whatever the hell it was I was talking about, which for you may or may not be a good thing. All right, let's try and do this. Armoured Knights, Pulse Attacks, 23rd July, 8 a.m. turn. I am now kind of at the point where I've run through a handful of combats in the opening turn. There's some picket line units that we elected to attack some and not others, and then mainly use that as an opportunity to explore combined arms, integrity bonuses and other bits and pieces. So, air and arty and all that sort of nonsense. So, we're now in the second turn. We've got 16th Panzer breathing down the neck of, I think this is 192nd Division here. I would have to double check and squint. It might not be 192nd. It might be 180 something. Yeah, 181st. 192's to the left of your screen. So let's run a hasty attack. We have we started here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a +1 to run a hasty attack. And I was going through all the calculations, and good news is I found a mistake. So that is awesome. So we now you're going to get live live results. When you go through combat, you roll your ass up there, put the units in place. Hasty attack can still be done from multiple hexes, and then you would if you have movement points left up afterwards, you can continue moving. I can tell you right now, 90% chance we're not going to budge any of this stuff out of here and get to keep moving, so we'll see. We've got a full battalion, and then a reduced battalion, and then underneath there's an AT gun with a 3-factor armor quality. Little green number, like this guy right here has a 6. I'm assuming you can see those guys okay. There we go. And here I have a stack of armor, and I've got 1 armored unit here and 2 companies of infantry here. We want to have 2 companies of infantry, including engineers count. We can, that gives us a combined arms bonus. Sorry for the dog. Hey, you feel free to just have a drink there, buddy. Take your time. We'll wait. Kind of a competition that goes on here. When I put fresh water out, both the dogs will drink from the bowls to basically drink the other dog's water. It's really annoying. I'm going to pause the camera for a second. All right. Oh no, here goes the other guy now. He's going to go over and he's going to drink from the bowl. Let me guess. Yep. Okay, I'll be back. All right. Okay, yes, everyone was a good boy. Well done. Okay, I have no idea what I was saying. I think I was about to do calculations. And so here's how this is how I have done it. May or may not be right. That's neither here nor there, I guess. So the armor in this attack is going to be multiplied. If it's in clear, it would be multiplied by 2, but because we're attacking a hedgehog, all these guys here, it's going to be the multiplier is going to be reduced to 1.5. I don't know why it gets multiplier at all, but maybe that's just a hangover from OCS. I said I've got another armor here and 2 infantry units. So we multiply our stuff by whatever numbers need to be multiplied by. The engineers actually get double because they're attacking and using their skills, their mad skills against a hedgehog. And these guys the armor gets 1.5. But, hold your horses, it's a hasty attack. So, got to reduce everything by 25%, or we take 75% of the value. Now, I'm taking 75% of the multiplied value. I think it's all going to work out a wash, whether I take 75% of the raw numbers and then do the doubling. So let's just assume, as long as I do it consistently, I don't care. So that's what we're doing. There are no doubling of anything here because there are no engineers or SMG units. So that's all good as well. Let's see. And then that's going to end up roughly now being 34 versus 21, just off the cuff there. And that's going to make it a 1.5 to 1 attack. So let's go use that as a little baseline, and then we're going to go forward from there. So the first thing, now I can allocate arty, I can allocate air. I am not allocating any air in this particular instance because I am trying to husband resources for a little bit later in the day. And we had some rough rolls earlier on in those early attacks, and things didn't work out very well. So I have a lot of fatigued aircraft. And the Stukas and one other platform don't arrive until noon or either today or tomorrow. So we've got to look at proficiency. Green units versus veteran units, attacking for 2 hexes. There's a table. We're going to roll on that table, and I rolled, and we got a bonus event, but the event, it's like a random event table that you have here for both sides. Oops, my little markers magnetically sticking. So you can see there's a German random events combat table, and a Soviet random combat events. And depending on what you roll and how many little red or blue stars turn up on the proficiency table will determine DRMs and events. And the event we rolled was in case we got air. We don't have any, so no one cares. So there's that. Now we're going to look at, so that didn't do anything to the net result. We're going to net odds or DRM. So now we're going to look at combined arms. We get a +2 for that as the bad guys. And the other bad guys get a -1. We want negative DRMs for the defender and positive DRMs for the attacker. We also have to look at the terrain effects chart. That's going to drop. That's going to put a -1 for both. So -1 for the attacker and a -1 for the defender. As I mentioned, low numbers are good, so we want the lowest possible number when we roll for our defensive roll, because there are 2 CRTs, one for attacker, one for defender. Defender combined arms, we did that. Armor quality ratings. Now I could use this unit here with the 6 versus the 3, and that would be good because that would give us a +3 differential. That would remove all of the what am I trying to say here? All of the DRMs for the defender. But if I suffer an armor loss of any type, and I'm using my armor quality rating of 6, I think I'm going to have to take, if I have to take step loss, it's coming off that guy. It's a 1-stepper. They're a valuable unit. They're 88mm guns. I'm assuming they're Lufties, like Luftwaffe stuff. So we're going through all that procedure, the hasty attack, artillery and CAS. I could use my leader if I want to. Let's move on. It's going to give me a +1 on the attack, and I think he's got to be in range anyway, and he may not be, and he's underneath the camera, so we ain't doing that. There are a quick look through all the other modifiers. I'm not seeing anything else that I think would be beneficial. There's no bonus for a 2-hex attack. In the non-terrain combat modifiers, yada yada yada. Radio comm markers, we're not doing that. I actually don't know that I have radio comm markers, but whatever. Veteran elites, no, that's for defending. So okay, so that's it. So now it's a 1.5 to 1. I am gonna take a chance and use this. And we rolled a 4 and a 3. So now I'm on the 1.5 to 1 table for both sides. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and try and show you this CRT. Here's the defender's CRT. So we go to the 1.5 to 1 column. We go over to the green here, and we look, and we've got a 3, and it's going to be a raw 3. And that is going to give us 3 coming across on 1.5 to 1. It's just a straight 1. Now, if it had to be in a 4 or a 2, there's a, really? There's a 1 with an asterisk. Can you see those? That's going to mean that a loss would need to be taken from the attacker's AQ unit. So we got lucky there. Nothing happens to this particular guy yet. Now, with the attacker's CRT, same thing. We go across to the vet line, and I said I rolled a 4, but I get a plus. Well, it's not +2. Yes, it is +2. So 4 becomes a 6. This is not going to be great. A 1.5, a 1R, a 1 capital R. Now, here's the thing with hedgehogs. So let's just pause there for a second, right? Let's do the defender's result. Defender's combat result against the attacker. We are doing this. We are looking at the stack and seeing there's less than 6 steps, casualty results are halved if the average steps per hex in the attack is 6 or less, which it is. So we're gonna halve the result of 1 step loss, and there are these little tokens that you flip over, and you start off with you don't lose a step, right? And then you flip it. The next time you've got to choose a half unit to lose, then you are going to lose a step. So to be plus and minus, it's it's kind of naughty. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just like a thing. So no loss for these guys. Now let's see what happens to the defender. The defender, we got a 1 capital R. One capital R means the result means the affected player must retreat 1 stack involved in combat, 2 hexes. But see the hedgehog results, right? So I've got to lose a step for sure, and I may have to retreat. But let's have a look. Hedgehog 2, which is what it is, will absorb 1 step of defender casualties. Fantastic. Defender ignores any 2 hex result, but the HH2 is eliminated as a result. Okay, so these guys all survive. This goes away, and that is your hasty attack. Now, if we were to, now I've still got movement points here. I could potentially do that again, right? We could go through that whole exercise again. I can't use my artillery that I've attached to the 16th Panzer because I've fired a heavy barrage here and suppressed this unit. But these guys are they're still moving. So we could attack again, or we could just sit tight and run a deliberate attack at full strength against this hex in the coming deliberate attack phase. That's actually a phase that's done after you've moved everything. So that's a combat. Let's just roll 2 dice and see what the result might have been. Okay, I rolled a 5 and an 8. And let's assume that everything else will be equal because no losses were taken by either side. We're going to have the same AQ armor quality thing, so there'll be no DRMs for the defender. And we would have, this time, however, there's no tech malice. So we would get a +3 on the die roll. So that would make an 8 would go to a 10, go to an 11 on the veteran, 1.5 to 1. Jeez. Okay, it's a 1 small R, means player must retreat 1 stack involved in the combat, 1 hex. There's no hedgehogs to interfere with that, and they would have to take a step loss. Now, does the defender's casualty result is halved if 6 or less steps. They have 3, 4, 5. They have 6, so they would grab their little token and go, oh, haha, roll it over, not take a loss, and they would retreat 1 hex. So we push them back 1 hex. These guys can advance. That would now be 5, 6. I guess you get to advance for free, 6. And I think I would probably sit tight there for the moment and then conduct a deliberate attack in the deliberate attack phase. And that would, whoa, you watch me just trash this now. There we go. All right. Now, I could also advance these guys in here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because I want to attack this hex. Now, I've got some other units that I want to move, and I was going to move them all up here and do this 1, 2, 3, going Zoc to Zoc 3, 4, 5 to there. I want to conduct a hasty attack, but I'm going to use 2 stacks. So we're going to do a hasty attack here, and we would attack that hex. And then hopefully what will happen there is they'll retreat, or we'll get rid of that hedgehog at least, and they'll retreat. And we can then, everybody here can attack this suppressed hex, and we can open up a little bit of a gap. Now, one thing that I didn't do for the defenders in this hasty attack was use any artillery to boost their defense. So minor oversight on my part, and that might have dropped everything back to a 1-to-1. Given that we did a second attack and got a decent result, let's just check and see what a 1-to-1 would have been with an 11. Yeah, so that would have made it a 1 capital R. So I think that would have just negated everything, and everything would have sat there. But, you know, they're going to keep their arty fresh for the deliberate attacks that are coming, and maybe we'll use some arty here, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, very long-winded explanation and probably overshared, but that and that's the a little bit of, you know, doing combat in this system, giving you a feel for the gameplay. And it obviously doesn't take this long. It doesn't take 16 minutes to do because we're talking it through as we go. But you do have to think about how you're going to approach all these things, and that's one small you know, armored division. That's part of an armored division. The rest of it's off the map and arrives at noon. I've already moved these guys up. I don't know why that move radio was there. And these chaps have moved as well. They actually did strategic movement. And then I've got 24th Panzer ready to go. And that'll be in the next formation I'm going to do, actually, because I want to hit this division and really want to pound. I want to focus my entire attack just on this segment of the board at the moment. They're the only ones that will then be reacting and moving for the time being. And we'll see how things go. Now over here, I've got 3 other divisions, plus 4 divisions actually, that are all going to be focused on this section of the map and pushing this way and then down towards the Kalach bridges and stuff like that. All right, that's just kind of a look at it. And you know, here's the thing, right? Doing that many mathematical calculations spread across a couple of maps, I think is bearable, manageable. It's interesting, probably creates a little bit of narrative and stuff like that. When you start tagging this thing out to full 3 or 4 full maps or multiple modules, then I think this thing starts to get very heavy and may the mechanics and the effort required, the math required, the number of calculations required per transaction, per attack, per whatever, starts to add up and really starts to tag out the timeline pretty significantly. And that's where I think team play, clearly this system is designed for team play. We're going to talk a little bit about the rule book and some of the mechanics and some of the things that I've found later on today. I may try and record a video, and we'll have or I might do a live chat. We'll have a conversation about that. All right, gonna let you guys go, and we'll talk soon.